Just like every single entertainment company that's been running for many, many years, Xbox has definitely also accumulated themselves a great and exciting legacy built upon the multiplayer experience, notably Gears and Halo. But trying to look at the previous console generation without bias, Xbox completely lost the race. They lost as they simply couldn't compete with the amount and quality of games that Sony were outputting. Horizon Zero Dawn, Uncharted 4, The Last of Us 2, God of War, Ragnarok, Days Gone, and many, many other exclusives which I haven't mentioned thus far. And the thing is, a number of them were completely brand new games or relatively new additions to a brand new-ish franchise. Now, Xbox definitely did try to compete with their very own established franchises, but these games no longer had the secret sauce. The new car smell had long dissipated. While back in the day, Gears and Halo revolutionized first and third person shooters, bro, pretty much every single shooter and their grandma has multiplayer now. Gears of War popped off back then due to its tone and its exciting third person cover shooter gameplay. That doesn't mean much of anything in 2025. A game such as Fortnite, which is actually completely free to play, offers an exceptional free to play third person shooter experience. Everything that made these games unique in the early 2000s and in their time period are now the bare minimum for the genre. Of course, we need to give respect to our OGs, but it's time for Unk to step his game up. So then Xbox have made the obnoxious, or however you want to put it, decision to pretty much essentially buy the competition to beef up the value proposition of Game Pass, and it definitely works because, bro, for pretty much a large contingent of last year, I was a Game Pass subscriber, being able to play Call of Duty, but there's the titles brand new off the gate without paying an extra dollar just from being subscribed to Game Pass. The value proposition is undeniable, and bro, dude, it's so cheap. It was literally the first time I played a Call of Duty game at launch, and I'm certain that this was the experience of many people all around the world, that they were finally able to play Call of Duty at launch because Xbox has finally made it affordable. But the thing is, I'm not sure how much credit I want to give Xbox in this regard. They've essentially just bought an already winning team. They didn't create a new IP or something to improve their catalog from scratch. Let's be absolutely honest, guys, we were going to be getting these games absolutely regardless of whether they were acquired by Microsoft or not. But I'll be honest, hey, a win is a win, and the catalog was definitely improved through these acquisitions. Now, I definitely am happy that they aren't sitting and resting on their laurels just continuing to buy new competition. They also are trying to bring to life some older, more classic franchises such as Fable. Somebody who never got to play those games before, as I didn't have an Xbox back then, or really had an interest in RPGs at the time. Even if I did have one, it's interesting, and I'll be excited to definitely play Fable when it eventually comes out. But the question I want to ask you guys today is, do you think Xbox's legacy is holding them back? Is it time for them to be out with the old and in with the new? Being absolutely honest, Gears and Halo even today don't bring anything necessarily new to the table. It seems to be more so of a rehash of legacy, continuing tradition even when it's no longer necessary. I'll be honest with you, bro, I'm more so on the thinking that all good things eventually need to come to an end. Personally, if we consider one of Sony's most famous franchises, God of War, I personally feel that's a pretty okay ending to wrap up the entire franchise. I truly don't believe it's possible to continue that tale without making the audience become nauseous to the overused story beats. I feel Gears and Halo have long passed that point many years ago. Halo going to the Unreal Engine 5 isn't going to magically bring new life into the franchise. The only thing that's guaranteed of Halo moving on over to Unreal Engine 5 is that we're going to be getting poor optimization, poor performance, and the definitely forceful use of upscaling technology. That's what I'm sure of. I honestly feel that these resources would be better spent on a completely brand new IP entirely. Now, they definitely are trying that with a few other studios and some more lower tier games, but when are they ever going to put all their resources into a completely brand new IP and make it a flagship. Like, bro, I'll be absolutely honest, bro, I'm not gonna count Indiana Jones as a new IP that Xbox and Microsoft came up with. No. They got the contract before they were even acquired. Before the ZeniMax acquisition happened, they were in production and they were making that game. Now, I'm sure the extra Xbox money helped to make it a smoother and more polished experience, but my guy, they were gonna make that game anyway, and regardless, we were going to get Indiana Jones in the Great Circle. So the question that keeps coming to my mind is, who is essentially Xbox main guy right now? Who would be the person you'd put in the promotional material? Who's the main character of the entire Xbox media group? Which game has been released recently that is, I'd say, worthy of the honor of representing one of the biggest media organizations in the world? If you believe it's still Master Chief, he definitely has acquired that position purely through nepotism and not through recent performances. It's from legacy, it's from tradition, it's from history alone. If we go to the other side of the sphere, for Sony it would be probably maybe Kratos, Astrobot, or perhaps arguably Joel and Ellie. All of these games were recently released of exceptional quality, and to be absolutely fair, Kratos could have been there just due to the original God of War trilogy, but the two brand new games stand upon their own 2 feet. Halo Infinite, on the other hand, I'm not so sure. And you know, I didn't only play Halo Infinite, I tried to go into the older Gears of War titles and the OG Halo games. The thing is, I definitely think they were a product of their time and would have been phenomenal and exciting at the time, but now in recent times, all of those mechanics have essentially been used as building blocks to be the breaking and the foundation of every single new game today. If you're playing an arena shooter, if you're playing a story-driven or linear shooting game, it's going to play similarly to Halo, and even the multiplayer experience draws pieces and pieces from all of these historical games. So now going back to them now, it feels very generic, very dry, and very bland, and unfortunately that same feeling carries on over to their newest titles. The only thing that's new and exciting about those games is the graphical fidelity, and that's far from being enough to be called innovation. While Sony capitalized and innovated during the PlayStation 4 period, Xbox essentially said, hey, if it ain't broke, why fix it? And the thing is, they've carried on that very same philosophy over to the next generation with the Xbox Series S and the Xbox Series S. This is even more disappointing as, I'll be absolutely honest man, over the past 3 years, Sony have definitely messed it up. And honestly, if you were to ask anybody their opinion on this entire generation of consoles, it's been pretty dry and disappointing. The content rollout has been slow, and the amount of quality games released have definitely been lackluster. Sony, in terms of their release schedules and the things that they've come out with, it's definitely been hit or miss. We've got flops such as Concord, flops such as Lego Horizon, then you have a gaming classic such as Astrobot and many others that they've released over this time period. It's been a hit or miss, and if there was any moment where Xbox were going to fill in and catch up on the deficit that they left due to the PS4 and Xbox One generation, it was going to be now, but they aren't capitalizing. Now what I'll say, and I'll have to give them credit for, they definitely are changing the game entirely and looking to the future, completely blurring the lines on what it means to have and play on an Xbox. They're completely blurring it and sending their games everywhere, so we'll have to see how that's going to pan out. I don't know yet whether the answer is to essentially abandon or latch onto their legacy franchises. I think we'll be able to fully decide on that when we finally get Gears of War, E-Day, Fable, and the Halo that is currently being developed on Unreal Engine 5. Those franchises have simmered and fermented in their stagnation. I'm interested to see if they'll be able to finally turn it up.